Have you ever noticed how a fight with your partner can actually feel, well, physical? And I'm not just talking about a broken heart, I mean real, actual symptoms like headaches or heartburn. Today, we're going to dive into the really surprising and sometimes kind of scary link between the harmony in your relationship and the health of your body.
Just think about it for a second. You're in the middle of a tense conversation, you're feeling unheard or criticized, and then, bam, out of nowhere, this throbbing headache starts up. Yeah, that's an incredibly common experience, and as you're about to see, it is absolutely not a coincidence.
Or, hey, maybe for you it's not a headache. Maybe it's that burning feeling in your chest. That awful, familiar heartburn that just seems to show up right when the emotional tension is at its peak. You know, these signals, they're your body trying to tell you something really, really important.
Okay, so let's get right into this because this is the core idea. For centuries, thinkers like the physician Maimonides have said the mind and body aren't two separate things. And guess what? Modern science is finally catching up. That conflict you're feeling, it's not just some abstract emotional thing. It's a full-on biological event.
So what is this internal conflict that can cause so much trouble? We're going to call it the harmony thief. And figuring out what this is, well, that's the key to understanding why the stress from your relationship can literally make you sick. So this internal battle, this feeling of being out of sync, it actually has a technical name in psychology. And the whole concept is borrowed from the world of music. Imagine an orchestra where all the instruments are just playing out of tune. It creates this really jarring, unpleasant sound. And that jarring sound, that feeling, it's called cognitive dissonance. It's that mental static you get when you believe two things that contradict each other. Or, and this is a big one, when what you're doing doesn't line up with what you believe. It is, quite literally, a state of internal disharmony.
And in a relationship, this battle often happens between your head and your heart. Right? Your logical brain is making a list of all the good things. He's a good provider, he's smart, he's responsible. But your heart, your gut feeling is screaming, but I don't feel that spark. We're not connecting. That clash, that is cognitive dissonance in action.
So how in the world does a mental tug of war give you a physical headache? Well, here's how. Your brain interprets this internal conflict not just as uncomfortable, but as a genuine threat. And that triggers a very, very real physical emergency response.
And I want to be super clear. This isn't just a vague feeling. Cognitive dissonance triggers things you can actually measure. We're talking about more sweating and a heart rate that can jump way up. Your body is reacting as if it's in immediate danger because from its perspective, your internal stability is in danger. To really get this, we've got to look at your nervous system. Think of it as having two modes. You've got the sympathetic system, that's your gas pedal. It's your fight or flight response. It floods you with adrenaline. Then you have the parasympathetic system. That's your brake pedal. It's for rest and digest, handling stuff like cell repair and calming you down. Now, here's the really crucial part. These two systems can't be on at the same time. It's one or the other. When the gas pedal is floored, the brake is off. Your body simply can't be in emergency mode and rest and repair mode simultaneously. It has to pick one. So when that dissonance in your relationship goes on for months or even years, your body gets stuck with the gas pedal to the floor. And this chronic state of emergency is just devastating. It leads to high blood pressure, digestive nightmares like ulcers and IBS, and yep, it even increases your risk for the big ones like heart attack and stroke.
Now, because this state of dissonance feels so awful, both in your head and in your body, we are powerfully driven to fix it. Our brains instinctively start scrambling, looking for any way to restore that feeling of inner peace and get the body out of crisis mode. And generally speaking, there are two main ways we try to do this. We can either change our beliefs so they match up with our actions, or we can change our actions so they match up with our beliefs. The first option is usually the path of least resistance. Let's go back to that example. Say you chose the logical partner. To make yourself feel better, you might start justifying it, almost glorifying the choice you made. You'll focus on all their good qualities and ignore the bad ones, basically trying to convince yourself it was the right call all along. But here's the thing.
changing your beliefs is often just a mental trick to quiet things down. The most powerful path, the one that leads to real, lasting harmony, it isn't about changing your mind. It's about changing your actions. And this brings us to probably the most practical and powerful insight of this whole thing. We usually think we need to feel love before we can act lovingly. But neuroscience shows us it's often the exact opposite. Action creates the feeling. You know, there's this beautiful old saying that just nails it. The heart loves applications. All it means is that our emotions often follow what we do. If you want to feel more connected to your partner, the very first step is to act more connected. You apply yourself to the relationship, and the feelings often follow. But, and this is a huge but, why you're acting this way matters a lot. If you're acting from a genuine internal desire to connect, that creates real, lasting change. But if you're just doing it to get a reward, being nice just so they'll do something for you, it can actually backfire. Your brain knows you're not doing it for love, you're just doing it for the prize. So true, lasting, harmony-restoring change has to come from the inside. It has to be authentic. It's about choosing to do things that line up with the person you want to be and the relationship you want to have, not because you're forced to or because you'll get something, but because you truly value it. And when you do that, when you finally align your actions with your deepest values, that dissonance just fades away. The alarm bells in your head stop ringing, and your nervous system can finally take its foot off the gas, allowing your body's incredible natural healing powers to switch back on. So at the end of the day, that headache, that heartburn, that nagging fatigue, it's not just random noise. It's data. It is your body's way of keeping score in this game of internal harmony. And the only real question left is, are you listening to the signals it's sending you?